Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I wanted to do a little update on 1 month being on YouTube, and I posted my first proper video on January 14th and it's now February 14th, so happy Valentine's Day. And I think it's actually very appropriate that this should fall on Valentine's Day. So I would love to be able to say that my first month on YouTube was all fun and games, but I actually found it really challenging and I feel like a different person to the person who filmed that first video, which is so weird. Like, I've learned so much, but I also know that I have so much more to learn, which is really cool, because when I first started, I kind of thought, I was so naive, I just thought, I know how to edit, like how hard can it be? Hard, like mentally as well. So that's what I want to get into a bit later. Over the past couple of months, I have watched so many videos like this where people have been sharing their statistics from their first 1, 2, 3, whatever months on YouTube, and I really wanted to do my own to validate myself and also to motivate me to keep going so that I make another video in the future. Today I wanted to share my statistics from this month and also talk a little bit about what I have been struggling with and what I have learned so far. And yeah, let's get into it. Happy Valentine's Day. Looking at the statistics of my YouTube channel has definitely been something that I've done a lot more of this month than I would care to admit. There hasn't really majorly been a pattern that I have seen in terms of views and watch hours throughout this month in relation to when I've been posting, but that's because I've been posting a lot, so it's hard to see the trends. And also, most of my views and watch hours have been from one video. So I made a video about my backpack which arrived, which I'm going to be taking backpacking later this year, and I unboxed it, and that's basically the only video that people have actually watched, which I'm really glad that someone watched one of my videos. But I think the main reason people watched this was because they searched for it specifically and they wanted to know what the bag was like. It was almost like a review. So I've got 4 subscribers. Thank you to my 4 subscribers. I find it crazy to think that 4 actual real life people clicked subscribe on my channel. So just to have 4 from what I have so far, I think is pretty cool, considering I'm quite insecure about everything. Anyway, 144 views, 6.2 watch hours, and then 3,000 impressions, which actually I clicked on advanced mode and I saw that it was exactly 3,333, which I thought was pretty cool. Pretty average impressions click rate, I think, but that was completely and totally saved by the bell. I mean, saved by the backpack video, because that has a very, well, pretty high click-through rate from what I know to be a high click-through rate, whereas everything else is like down in the dumps, which is fine. But yeah, if it wasn't for that video, like the video I'm making right now would be a totally different story, because there basically would be no data to show. And yeah, average view duration, 2 minutes. It's just crazy to think that that means that someone else is watching what I've made for 2 minutes. Like, time is our most valuable resource. So as you can see, most of my views have come from YouTube search on that backpack video. How do you see the keyword thing? YouTube search. Yeah, most people want to know about the backpack. Last 28 days. These spikes, those were me watching from my iPad. So yeah, I was cheating. I think it's funny to look at trends because you can see what who YouTube has profiled you as, because I think it's suggesting these videos because it thinks that this is the kind of video that I like to make, which is interesting. So yeah, as you can see, some of my videos have no views, which is down to the fact that they provide no value, basically. Those are my statistics. I hope I didn't rush through it too quickly and that you found it useful to see where I am at. Even if I'm hesitant to say it's realistic, because what is realistic? So now I just wanted to have a little chat about what I've been struggling with and what I've learned so far this past month, because it's been like I said at the beginning, I don't recognize who I was at the beginning of this month. There has been a lot of personal growth. I think in the beginning, as you can see, I posted quite a lot, but I definitely think I felt this pressure to get as much out there as possible and just like test the waters and put myself out there. And then I kind of hit this moment where I was like starting to get anxious about what I was doing, probably because I was looking at the statistics quite a lot, even though I was like telling myself I shouldn't be looking at the statistics, which made me want to look at the statistics more. But now I feel I'm a bit more relaxed and less rushed, and like taking my time to think more about where this is going and what kind of videos I even want to make, and kind of if I'm providing any value. I've written a list of things that I have been struggling with. So the first thing I put was feeling exposed and not feeling sure if I'm representing myself as who I am. There were times where I was like feeling very anxious about doing something to do with YouTube, like filming, and then I was like, how am I showing who I really am when I'm like trying to push away these anxieties about what I'm doing? That's just an example, but just in general, like looking at my channel is kind of like, it feels like a representation of who I am, and so I feel like this pressure to make it accurately represent who I am, and I'm not even sure who that is. So I think it's just a lot of different factors feel like I'm putting me in different directions as to what I should be doing. A major thing that I think I've been struggling with is comparing myself to other people. I think at the beginning of the month I didn't let myself notice the fact that I was doing this, but it's definitely also changed the way that I have consumed YouTube, because I'm watching other people and thinking about myself and how if I could do it like them, what I'm doing wrong, what I could be doing better, and judging other people as well as I'm judging myself and comparing myself to other people, which is definitely something that I think I need to journal a lot more on. I've also been struggling with just allowing myself not to be good at something. I'm such a perfectionist and I really like to prepare for things. Like I really like to prepare for exams at school. So going into something not really knowing what I'm doing and actually posting when I'm not sure what I'm doing, I'm struggling with. But I just know that if I kept trying to polish this, that I would never really get anywhere. I think it's definitely a learning on the job kind of thing, which I'm struggling with allowing myself to be seen doing that. And this final one that I've written on my list, I'm like kind of embarrassed to say, because I mentioned it in my very first video about my anxieties about starting a YouTube channel, and I thought that saying it out loud would make it go away. And I thought that I was like beyond that. I thought I was better than that, but I'm evidently not. But I've been struggling with like these little niggling feelings of what other people in my life are gonna think, and how I would feel if I told them about my YouTube channel and if they looked at my YouTube channel. Yeah. I'm trying to push it away, but there's no hiding it. I need to journal it, I need to move through it, sit with it, work, I mean, you can see what kind of brain I'm working with here. Like I'm so analytical and overthinking and trying to figure things out all the time, which is something that I'm working with. I'm using it to my advantage. I'm trying. Moving on. Now I want to talk about some things that I've learned. I've definitely been learning that it's good to learn by doing things, and there's only so much you can read and consume and put information inside of you, but then actually doing it is where you learn the most, and that's really cool because it's definitely motivating me to keep going and keep trying. So next is a really big thing for me, which is something I saw someone say on their YouTube channel, and her name, I'm probably gonna butcher this, is Lynette Adkins, and I'll link the video in the description. But she talks about how posting content and making YouTube videos is a spiritual journey, and I can't take myself seriously to say that, because it just feels like YouTube is the antithesis of spirituality, because spirituality is all about being content with who you are and what's inside of you, and I don't know, dealing with your own stuff. But I do think that YouTube is like a magnification of society in a way. Like it's an intensification of being in social settings, and brings up all these things and like limiting beliefs and negative feelings inside of you or me to work through. And in that sense, I think it is a spiritual journey, and I journal every day, and I think that At first I was like kind of icky about journaling about YouTube. Just feels like kind of stupid, and maybe that's another thing that I'm struggling with, is just feeling kind of stupid, like what am I doing? But yeah, I think it's actually a really powerful tool to use in my spiritual journey, in terms of putting myself into a situation where I can grow and doing something difficult that kind of scares me in order to grow. I don't know, she says that a lot better than me, so I definitely recommend watching that video. Another thing that I've learned, which I kind of have already touched on, is the fact that it can't be rushed and things don't happen overnight. And I'm actually okay with that, which is weird because I'm definitely the kind of person who has really intense periods of enjoying a hobby and getting really into it and thinking like this is the future, and then after 2 weeks like it kind of just falls away again. Another thing that I feel like I've learned, and this is something I feel like I've actually learned rather than just I'm learning at the moment, is everything is so noisy, is to focus on the video that I'm currently planning, or like maybe 1 or 2 videos, and just focus on doing those and learning and doing the best that you can with those. Because at first I had like a million ideas and I was trying to like brainstorm them all, but because everything feels so fast paced at the beginning, my ideas were constantly changing and moving on, that if I thought too much about those other ideas that I then scrapped, it's just best to focus on what I'm doing, and then after I've done that, then I can think, okay, what am I going to do next? And it kind of moves on from that, if that makes sense. So the next thing I feel like I'm learning at the moment is like, what is my why for doing YouTube? Like, what kind of value am I providing and how I'm expressing myself? I don't even know if I'm going to include this because I feel like I haven't thought it through enough. But I've definitely learned that YouTube is a platform that values value. I don't know, there's so many different kinds of value, but I've definitely learned that's something to look out for when I'm thinking about what kind of videos I want to make. Finally, some technical things, so not interesting, but I feel like I've learned about scripting. I've learned a bit about editing. One of the things that I like to do, and I'm not doing right now, which I've learned, is that you can mirror, because I film on my phone because I don't have a camera, but you can mirror your iPhone to your Mac, and then I'm not doing it right now, but then I can see, like it's like a viewfinder, I can see what the camera is filming, so I know what's in the view shot. So thank you for watching. I hope that you found this helpful, or you were able to relate to some of these things, maybe slightly validating or reassuring. Have a good rest of your day. To prove to myself that this is realistic, because I am real. I'm going to my grandpa's house today. I actually should be packing right now. I've been using that backpack in that video to pack. Hit the like button.